No pressure.
Mike is acknowledged Ian as his best man. Only took 17 years, 6 days, but who's counting? Ian?
Not me.
It's time to expose this flawless man we call Mike. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Aikenhead.
Look out, Mike.
Everybody said look out and watch out. I actually need to be careful because Mike's going to be standing up for me in about 9 months. So I thought about that long and hard, and I thought I really don't care. So, to be honest, where do I even start? Mikey, Sandos, the Dozer, Daniel Alfredson, the Swiss Sensation. All of these are names that we've used to refer to the groom up here. My name is Ian Aikenhead, and I've had the pleasure of standing up here today as the best man for Mike Sandos, or as the locals in the Dominican like to call him, El Blanco. That's a story, that's a whole other story. One quick thing, the venue staff here at the Ancaster Mill have graciously asked that for the reasons of health and safety, none of you get up on the tables for my standing ovation. All right, the pleasantries. To the bridesmaids, once again, beautiful, organized, supportive. All of the things that the other half of the table certainly is not. It's not often that one gets the opportunity to speak about someone so intelligent, respected, quick-witted, and admired. Sorry, Cam, but I have to talk about Mike today. So here it goes. I've known Mike for going on 19 years now, and I can certainly say that those 19 years have allowed Mike, myself, as well as many other folks in this room to, let's just say, enjoy life's festivities. I first met Mike when I tried out for the hockey team in Hespeler. He was an odd-looking fellow, small in stature. Small in stature, with a loud mouth. A loud mouth that I would later find getting me into many unwanted altercations. Mike could skate like the wind, very smooth stride, and an uncanny ability to string together curse words in a way that I've never heard before. No word of a lie, this is the only person I have ever seen receive a 3-game suspension for verbal abuse of an official. If you want to ask Mike what he said to that official, you can do it later. I actually wouldn't ask him, actually. Whether it was calling on the biggest guy in the bar and asking him if his shirt was a medium, or telling the Austrian arm wrestling champ that his buddy Ian could certainly take him in arm wrestling, Mike has always had a way of getting me into interesting situations. Speaking of interesting situations, living with Mike, now that was an experience. I remember one specific incident in my second year. I remember it vividly. It was a Wednesday evening, and I had a midterm the next day worth 60% of my mark. Mike and Ryan Wood. Can I get a show of hands for anybody named Ryan Wood in the crowd? Okay, we do that one. Great work. Ryan was part and parcel to this incident, so. They told me that it was in fact my duty to drink beers with them that night. I couldn't study and I had to drink beer with the two of them. They weren't going to let up, so I went downstairs, had a few beverages, against my better judgment of course. Had 2 or 3 drinks and then went off to my room to study. Mike and Ryan then decided they were going to pull an all-nighter and watch the sun come up, as they wanted to call it. They proceeded to knock on my door every 30 minutes from midnight until 4:30 in the morning. At 4:30 in the morning, I had had enough of this, and I burst out of my room with full intention on pounding one of these two. I took 2 strides down the hall and stepped directly on a thumbtack. My leg buckled and I smashed my face into the wall at the end of the hall. So now you guys can picture this. There I am at 4:30 in the morning, in a heap on the floor, with a bloody nose, pulling a thumbtack out of my foot. And I look up to see Mike on the stairs, 4 steps down, and he looks at me and goes, "I don't care who you are, that shit is funny." So this is what it was like living with Mike Sandos. To this day, he swears he didn't put that thumbtack on the floor. I knew Mike had met his match that balmy summer evening at the Stampede Ranch in Guelph. Mike, Vance, and I had gone out for a typical evening of Vance and I talking to the ladies, and Mike displaying his best Elaine Bennett dance moves on the As the evening drew to a close, a group of ladies approached us and began to chat with us, one of them being the beautiful bride you see up here today. As I recall, Teresa was drawn to Mike instantly. Vance and I went to grab a beverage, and when we returned, we saw that Teresa had Mike pinned up against the bar and was, well, you get the idea. It was from that day forward that I knew Mike would never be in charge again. Regardless of all these stories, through my friendship with Mike, I've realized that things happen for a reason. Mike and I have been through a lot together, and we were always there to support each other when times were tough. I'm honored to have had the opportunity to be friends with Mike and to share some of these ridiculous times together. In all seriousness though, Teresa, you are the perfect match for him. You are kind, caring, beautiful, all the parts that Mike missed out in the G pool. I couldn't be happier to see the two of you finally start your life together, and I will end it with some advice from Mike. In the words of the famous philosopher Cameron J. Scott, to keep your marriage going, with love and whiskey in your cup, whenever you're wrong, admit it. Whenever you're right, shut up. It's a happy couple, Mike and Teresa.